This video is to support the analysis of war photographer, which is part of the Edexcel English Literature Paper 2 GCSE. It's part of the conflict section, and I'm using this booklet to support the analysis along with SMILE, which is the colour coding system that I'm going to use. If you turn in this booklet to page 39 and have a look at the context section, we'll run through what the poem is about. So the page looks like this. We have a little bit of a breakdown here of what the poem is about that should support us with the understanding of meaning and explore. So the first thing that I've done to support my analysis is put SMILE along the top, so I know my colour coding and I've got something that I can use all the way through. You don't have to use the same colours as me, but it's just a guide so you know which colours I've used and why. So first thing that I've done as I've read this section is I've pulled out things that help me understand the meaning of the poem, but also explore the poet's intentions and why she's done what she's done. So please read this at your own pace. I'm just going to run through some of the things that I've pre-highlighted and why I've picked them out. So if I go through meaning first, the first thing that I picked up on here was that the poem is tragic and is comparing poverty to leisure. So one of the first things that drew my attention was this poem was meant to initiate fears of sympathy, of horror, because tragedy and tragic infer death, accident, awful. So already what I'm expected to see in this poem isn't going to be particularly nice, and therefore its intention is obviously to encourage me to feel a very specific way about war. I'm also told here that I'm comparing poverty to leisure, and as a reader we bring our own knowledge to that. So we've got two different lifestyles here, and because I'm reading this as a British reader, leisure does make me think of those that are more fortunate, like the UK, like ourselves, and perhaps that links to the idea of guilt, especially when we put that next to the fact we're going to be looking at poverty and other lifestyles and other countries that are not as fortunate as ourselves. The second thing that drew my attention for meaning was that we're looking at modern warfare. So again, we bring our own knowledge to this, but in the discussions with my students we picked up on the idea of Syria, what we've seen in the news, the wars that have gone on in the East, and how this is being presented in this poem here. And I've added to that because it is modern, I think there's a sense of real modern war today and that immediacy. So this poem is meant to bring about the immediacy of action, and that this is not something that it's done and forgotten. We must do something about it now. I also highlighted effects of war has on individual lives, and quite a lot of the students picked up on the idea of personal loss, and the psychological effects as well. The effects of war, especially when we're looking at individuals, suggest that this poem is trying to draw our attention to not just the losses as a whole, but maybe create a bit more sympathy by picking out and focusing on the individuals, which as a photographer, as the title of the poem tells us, means that that's what they focus on. They're looking at the individuals and their personal loss. So after meaning, the next thing that I've looked at is the tone. And I'm already getting a sense from the meaning of what tone I'm expected, but here I've highlighted a really key focus for the poet. So she's focusing on pain and suffering, and this phrase here, she wants to address it head on, suggests that this is definitely going to be a poem that's honest, real. There's no sugarcoating about this here. She wants to be really clear about what she sees, and maybe suggests a sense of anger that nothing is being done about it and we need to know the truth and then make the right decision, which I'm getting a sense that the right decision here, from the poet's perspective, is that we need to do something about it, and not just read about it in a newspaper. I also highlighted at the bottom here, war is individual and personal. And again, I've just linked that to the idea of, as we said before, about individual lives. This is the second time this word has been said in this context here, is that the poet wants to draw our attention to everybody affected at war is a human being just like us, and there is a sense of this could happen to you, this could happen to us. Okay, so there's lots more we could pick up on, but that has given me a sense of what I'm going to be analysing and what to expect, so I can link my interpretations, I can link my structure, and I can link my language to those ideas. Have a look at the next video so that we can go through some of the stanza analysis.